Okay. Hi, everybody. Okay, so this is my first attempt at live streaming and streaming to YouTube. We're going to start doing this for our Dispensation of the Holy Spirit class that we're doing over at the Rock Fellowship Church on Thursday nights. We're going to get started back at 7 o'clock on, I think let me look. It's going to be January 8th. We'll be back at the Rock Fellowship. I'll have the classroom open. Just come in, join us. Don't worry about we've already done 3 sessions. Well, 3 full sessions, and which is I think 9 classes or so, maybe 6 classes. I think because I've combined some of those sessions together. Anyway, this study on the dispensation of the Holy Spirit has truly been a godsend for me. It's increased my knowledge of the working of the Holy Spirit in my life, God's intent for my life. I want it to have that same impact on you as well. And maybe I can recap a few things that we've done. Let me pull up. Let me see. Let me go back to lesson 1. So, let me share my screen. So this is, kind of where we got started. We talked about, remember, that I think this is one of the most important things is, the 4 aspects of the enduring work and the mandate of the Holy Spirit. And that is create what is good, renew what is broken, empower what is called, and complete what God has begun. So that's the mandate, or the work of the Holy Spirit in our lives. And then we started with Genesis 1, right? And this whole journey is about the ministry of the Holy Spirit, all the way from Genesis, all the way through creation or Revelation, and the ministry of the Holy Spirit in the Old Testament. We focused on that. We focused on the ministry of the Holy Spirit upon Saul and his life, the ministry of the Holy Spirit on Gideon, and a few others, and Judges. We really talked a lot about how the Holy Spirit empowered and provided leadership, and then we kind of took a turn, and we turned once we got into the New Testament. We started talking about the different aspects of the Holy Spirit, and in Isaiah chapter 11 verse 2 really talks about the 7 spirits of the Lord are really just 7 characteristics of the Holy Spirit and the work that he does with believers. And so once we get through all of that, then we're going to start really working on the New Testament. But we're going to get started with Joel chapter 2. And this is where we're going to get started. So this is really the prophetic declaration of the work of the Holy Spirit in the end times, in those days, as and the impact of the Holy Spirit upon believers. That God says he's going to pour his Spirit out, right? And it's going to fall on us. And that's exactly what we saw on the day of Pentecost. What was described in Joel 2 is what happened, and what's been happening to the church ever since. Now, we could probably get into a scholarly debate on whether or not the gifts of the Holy Spirit, or the gifts of the Spirit, were for the early church, and then there was a cessationist movement where the gifts were no longer needed. I do not fall in that camp. And I fall in the camp that the Holy Spirit was given to us upon the day of Pentecost. And from that day forward, the gifts of the Holy Spirit lived with the church. And there was evidences of and there was lots of different types of evidences. A lot of people would hang their hat on the fact that, speaking in tongues is the first fruit or the first evidence that the Holy Spirit is dwelling in you. But I don't believe that's the case. I believe that the Holy Spirit dwells in every believer, that's part of the salvation process. It's part of that redemptive process. The reason that Jesus said that if I go, I will send another, right? So we're going to cover all that. We're going to cover in detail, in depth. We've already talked a lot about that in some of our sessions already. We talked about what it meant for the Holy Spirit to fall upon Jesus, what happened in the temple when he died on the cross, what happened when he resurrected, what happened when the day of Pentecost came and the Holy Spirit descended upon the believers in the same manner that the Holy Spirit descended upon Jesus. It had a different appearing. I thought that was kind of interesting, is that the Holy Spirit would fall upon Jesus like a dove. But the evidence of the Holy Spirit being upon the believers was a flaming tongue over the top of their heads, as if the burning of the Holy Spirit was within them now. And I really do believe that it was that mandate that brought believers into that spiritual awakeness. Even the disciples weren't the same. The disciples were changed. Peter, you want to talk about a radical transformation. The guy who says, thou art, the Son of God, the Christ, the Messiah, and Jesus says, flesh and blood hath not revealed that to you. And then he turns around and it just says stupid things like, far be it from me that, that you should go to the cross and die. It's just, but then you see this radical change in his first speech after the dispensation of the Holy Spirit to the believers. That Acts chapter 2 speech it's monumental, and it really should be, I think, the mantra of every believer that comes into salvation. So anyway, didn't want to rehash too much. There's lots of stuff I'm sure we could all find places to argue about, but I'm really looking for us to find commonality in the Holy Spirit and the ministry of the Holy Spirit. So starting January 8th, at 7 p.m. at the Rock Fellowship Church in Johnson City, Tennessee. Join us. We'll have study guides, and it'll be fun. Be a good time. But thanks. See you there.